Awesome. All right. So again, with those measures of variability, we're going to use those to describe the distribution of data. Again, I'm using about every single big word I can think of. In normal people words, what does distribution of data mean? Any guesses? Yeah.
Distribute the problem.
Yeah. So the distribution of data is just all the numbers they give you. They're going to give you a giant handful of numbers. Your job is to figure it out. Okay? Yesterday, you guys were given that group of data. What things did you guys do yesterday to understand that data, to make it a little bit easier to work with?
Set it up from least to greatest.
Perfect. You set it up least to greatest. Okay? That's the very first thing you did, and then we can figure out the distribution of data, how it's all set up. This will be the exact same way. We're going to set it up least to greatest, just the way we did before. So the range, and we look at all this data, the range is going to be the difference between the biggest value, the greatest value, and the smallest value of the set. Okay? So I will use Heelan High School as our example. Any guess on how old the oldest student is at our school?
71.
Student?
Oh, no. What?
21.
I hope not.
No, 20.
So they should be 18. Most of the ones that are right now that I know of are 18. I don't know any 19, but there might be one towards the end of the school year. So 18 is going to be our oldest. Youngest student at Heelan High School.
13.
Okay, some of you guys said 13. Okay, at the start of the school year, they're 13. Our range for students at this school, we're going to take the oldest, the greatest value. The oldest student is 18. The youngest student was 13. So to find the range of students in the school, we're going to subtract those two. So everyone within this school is going to be within the range of 5 years of each other. Okay? Does that make sense when I'm talking range? The oldest minus the smallest. Okay? A lot of times when people are trying to figure out getting gas when they're driving around, they will figure out what's the most expensive gas around town, what's the least expensive gas around town. There's usually a range of about 20 cents per gallon, which is ridiculous, but that's a story for another day. Okay, so that's what the range is. All right, so there's going to be some different, don't worry about drawing this picture. I'm going to explain it first. There's going to be different pieces of data that we had. The stuff we had before, we had some tables where they looked, I'm going to draw a table. Tables were the ones that look like, well, maybe a little better. Again, I'm going to pretend with some numbers. Don't worry about it. Like we had 1, 5, 7, 6, 3, 2, 5, 3, 3, and then 4. Okay, we could have a table that had a whole bunch of numbers in it. We've had just lists of numbers. We had like 98, 90 or 72, 85, 88. Okay, we've had like the tables, we've had lists of number. The other way they can do it is they'll have a number line with kind of these frequencies on it. The way this graph is described, the way it's shown to you, so it's going to say the mass of letters in grams. So it's saying that there is one of those letters is 33 grams. One's 37. There's two of them that are at 38. There's one that's at 39. So each one of these dots represents a specific number in our list or on our table. Okay, so those are like the 3 different ways you'll see data. Okay, I just wanted to show you all 3 of those ones. You don't need to worry about drawing this one. All I'm doing in this is I'm just trying to figure out what the range is. I want to find the greatest, and I want to find the least. So when I'm looking at the greatest number, I'm going to look right here. What would that number represent on the number line? 58. So 58 is my greatest number. What's the smallest number on that number line? Yeah, all the way down here, it's going to be 33. If I'm looking at the range, I'm going to talk slowly while I get my highlighter out. Do I care about this data right now? No, I do not. If I'm looking for the range, all I care about is this 58 and this 33. All this stuff in the middle, it can be used for other pieces of data that we'll do later. But if I'm just looking for the range, I don't have to worry about that stuff. Okay, if you see a chart, all you need to worry about is the biggest number and the smallest number. If you see a list of numbers, all you need to look at is just the biggest and the smallest. So your job as mathematicians, or as you'll get into science class, as scientists, is to figure out what pieces of data are important for you, and then just focus on that. There is no reason to put a giant list of stuff together if you don't need to know that stuff. Okay, so I want to find the range for this set of data. My biggest number is 58. My smallest number is 33. To find that range of data, all I'm doing is I'm going to take 58 minus 33, do that subtraction, and I get 25. So my range for this data, for this table, my range is 25. Because I took 58 minus 33. Yes, ma'am?
How would it have been different if there were like 2 dots above?
If there were 2 dots like above the 58, it still would have been the same number. You're taking the biggest number and the smallest number. So even if you had 10 dots at 58, we only need to worry about that one highest number and that one lowest number. So far, okay? Okay, I'm going to look at this example number 2. Again, they're giving me a whole bunch of information. It wants me to find the range. Do I need to worry about putting all of those ones and focusing on that? Or what are the 2 things I'm looking for? The biggest number, the smallest number, the greatest and smallest, or greatest and least. So I'll write it down. I'm just going to put my little note here. I'm going to do least. I'm going to do my greatest number. What's my smallest number for all those? 6. Okay, my smallest one is 6. What's my biggest number for those? To find my range, I'm going to do what? Subtract 25 minus 6. I'm left off with 19. So my range is 19. Feeling pretty good on that, on the range? Okay. Here's where people stop liking me. Assuming you guys liked me before. All right. Here is a brand new concept that I don't know if you guys had talked about yet. Okay. We're going to talk about quartiles. Okay. Quartile looks like the word quarter. Okay. That's a fancy root word that means 4. Okay, so quartiles are going to be the values that we're going to divide into 4 equal parts. All right, in your worlds so far, you've already been doing this, but you haven't been giving it names. Okay? So I'm going to go to childhood here. Here's my chocolate bar. Okay, if you had to share that piece of candy with some friends, what'd you usually do? You probably broke it in half. Most time you just wouldn't let somebody take a bite of it. That'd be weird. Okay? Okay, I'm going to take that chocolate bar, I'm going to break it in half. Okay, if we had to share it between 4 different friends, we'd break that other one into half again, into half again. Okay, you and 3 friends, you now have a chocolate bar that's broken down into 4 equal sections. Or should be equal sections unless you're like that terrible friend who like broke off a really tiny piece for everybody else and you could have a giant one. Okay? You guys have already done that and you figured out you've done quartiles before. I'm giving you some great pieces of information. Is that right here, when you broke that candy bar in 2, this is the median. That's half of the candy bar. You've already kind of done that. On this half, here's the kind of the lower half section right here. So this would be like the first quarter. Here's the second quarter. Third quarter. And then the fourth quarter. Okay, you've done these quartiles before. I'm showing you, this math book is showing you, this report is showing you, how we can actually make this mathematical. Okay? So anyway, we got all these different quarters. When we are going to look to figure out what things are going to get broken up, so we have got the regular median, we can find a median for this bottom half. So this spot right here is going to be our first quartile median, or Q1. Over here, right, that median, that'll be our third quartile, or Q3. Okay, that's what the notes are saying. Okay, so the median in the lower half of the data is referred to as Q1. The median in the second half of data is referred to as the Q3. What we can do with those pieces of information is we can have something called the interquartile range. Okay, the interquartile range is the range of the data from the middle half of the data. It's the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile. To solve it, we do Q3 minus Q3 minus Q1. Any guesses why this would be helpful instead of just doing the range? All right, I'm going to use Miss Meyer's class. Okay, she usually sends out kind of a list of how biology tests go, because you guys have all taken those biology tests. Some people are able to get 100%, right? Okay. However, when you start getting to like the bottom end of the test, like if you're not passing, you got a failing grade, you could have anything from 68.5% all the way down to 0, right? So I'm going to draw my little chart of grades for that class. Okay, so I've got like 100 over here. I'm going to say this is 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 0%. These are all my percentages here. Okay? So when people are taking this test, I'm going to use some of these ones. I got one person that got 100. I got some people that have these ones over here. Lots of people got an 80 on that one. Got 175. Now we'll do 275s. I got 170. I got 295s. And then I got this guy over here. Or gal. I don't want to give him a name. We'll call him Pat. Pat was it? Anyway. For my range for this data, regular range, what 2 numbers would I be looking at? 110. So I subtract 100 minus 10. My range for all of these tests that got taken was a 90. Okay, we're saying that it's anywhere between 90 points between each other. However, did the majority of people miss that 90? Like that range of 90? It was just Pat. Pat over here didn't do too well. Because the majority of our people were able to focus on here. So when we look at that interquartile range, we're just trying to figure out where the majority of people all belong. And that's where we're going to focus on this one. We don't have to worry about all those, we call outliers. We don't really talk about it too much in this chapter. We don't really focus on those outliers. We're really just going to focus on kind of the bulk of people. Because you're going to have people that do really, really poorly. You're going to have people that do really, really well. Okay? So that's why we get a focus on the interquartile range, is because that's where usually the majority of our data is going to fall in between there. Okay? So I'm going to look at this one, and here's how we're going to set this one up. This will be our first one we do together. All right, so the very first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to put all of these in numerical order. So we've got Marley's paper airplane tosses. Okay, Marley's throwing those airplanes, trying to see how far they can go. Okay, I'll zoom in just a smidge so you can see them. I'm going to put it in the order from least to greatest. So I start with 25. That one's done. And then 38. Then 39. 40. 44. 45. 49. And then 53. Okay, so here is all my data, all in order. I'm going to get a different color pen to make sure I don't confuse people on this one. So looking at every single piece of that data, the stuff that I want to do, I'm going to do kind of three things here. The first one I'm going to look at is just going to be my range. So what's my range of all that data? Or somebody talk me through how to get it. 53 minus 25. Okay, I subtract those two. I should end up with 28. So my range is going to be 28. The next part I want to do is I'm going to try to find my quartile. Here, I'm going to do 3. I'm going to give you one extra one for right now. I want you to find the median. Quartile 1, I mean. Quartile 2. And then, quartile 3 is what I meant to say. And then the interquartile range. Okay. These last ones will all kind of go together pretty quick. So to find the median, I'm going to count all of them. I got 8 of them. So I know my median is going to be right here. From what you did yesterday, how do I figure out this median? Super. Add those two together, divided by 2. So I do 44 plus 40 divided by 2. My median is going to be 42. So my quartile 1, okay, my first half, I'm only going to look at these pieces of information. The other one, I'm going to look at only these pieces of information. I don't need to focus on any of this other stuff that's on the opposite sides. So for quartile 1, I'm going to find the median of this left side, which is right here. So I'm going to take 38 plus 39 divided by 2. So 38 plus 39 divided by 2. My quartile 1 is going to be 38.5. My quartile 3, I'm going to find the median of this one, which will be right here. I'll take 45 plus 49, divide that by 2. So I should end up with 47. 47 even. So I got 47 for that number. Now that I have that information, I don't need to really look at that chart anymore. To find my interquartile range, I will take Q3, which is 47, minus 38.5. So I've got 47 minus 38.5. My interquartile range is going to be 8.5. Okay? When you do these ones, I do want you to find all 5 of those pieces. Okay? I'm going to let you know tomorrow when we get to it. The book is only going to say to just do the Q1, Q3, I think interquartile range. I want you to do all of them. Okay, I want you to do all 5 of them. All right, we're going to do one more practice one together, and then I'll hold off. You guys will have the rest of the night, and then we'll do a couple more practices tomorrow, and then we'll go on. We still have 7 minutes, though, so you shouldn't just be giving up.
I'm not even. I was just. Oh,
No, we're done at 57. Okay. All right, so next one. Sorry, does anybody need more time in that one? All right, next one. Okay, we're looking at the medal counts from the Olympics. Don't worry about the definition. I'll give you a chance to write down the numbers if you'd like. Otherwise, somebody talk me through what I'm going to do.
Center of least greatest.
Least greatest. All right. You guys tell me what I'm writing. Smallest one.
11.
Okay. And then?
14.
And then?
15.
And then?
16.
And then?
23.
And then?
26.
And then?
30.
And then?
47.
Fantastic. Stuff I want to find. I want to find the median. I want to find the range. Range then median. The order doesn't matter, but I'm going to be particular. Just keep it the same. Range, median, quartile 1, quartile 3, and the interquartile range. Let's switch out pens. Somebody talk me through. How do I find my range?
Track 37.
37 minus 11. What do you get? Fantastic. 26. Okay, so for that one, I'll write it back here just so you can see it. You did 37 minus 11, and that's where that one came from. My median. How can I figure that out? Okay, you found out 16 and 23 are right here in the middle. On you did 16 plus 23 divided by 2. What'd you get? Super duper, 27.5. So my median is 27.5. You get my highlighter back out. Here's my lower half of data. Here is my upper half of data. Q1. Do you have a question?
I keep getting
I'll go with it. I'm just going with you guys, what you're telling me. 19.5, that looks way more correct. I'm guessing you might have just added an extra button. Or I think you may have, your calculator might have done order of operations. That could be. Okay?
I found that a lot. If you put in the numbers and then just divide those by 2, it gives you the wrong answer. So you have to do the numbers equal sign and then divide that by 2.
Fantastic.
Calculators are not as smart.
Because they'll do order of operation. Yeah. Good call. Sweet. All right. On to Q1. How do I find that? Sweet. In between 14 and 15. So I add those together. Divided by 2. I should end up with what number? 14.5. Super. So quartile 1, 14.5. Quartile 3. Between 26 and 30. What do you get for that one?
28.
Super duper. 28. And then to find the interquartile range, I'm going to do 28 minus 14.5. What do you guys get? 13.5. How you feeling? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Okay. Not going to give homework today. We're going to kind of get a pause on this one. Tomorrow, we'll do one together, and then you guys will do one completely on your own, and then we'll have homework time.